Hello, and welcome to Stitching Across the Smokies. I'm Tanya, and this is my little stitching neck of the woods. Today is November 4th, Tuesday, and we've got a little bit to talk about today, because today I'm going to go over everything that I've touched, every whip I've touched in the month of October, as well as what my plans are for the current week. And then I've got a couple of other little things to talk about there at the end. So last video, I started showing a few of the finishes I have. So last week I showed the fox and the shooting star. But this week I'm going to show you probably one of the very first, at least the very first completed projects I ever did. And they're a little dirty, they're really old, but this was back when I believe I was a freshman in college. And I do not remember what the names of these are, but I had made these for my mother for Mother's Day. And I can remember staying up really late, multiple nights, trying to get these done in time to give her for Mother's Day. As you can see, they're kind of dirty. I don't know if I want to chance taking them out of these hoops that I've got them in to try to clean them, or just, you know, enjoy them as is. And as you can see, finishing it was very primitive, so to speak. I just put a little bit of ribbon around it, and there's nothing even on the back. And they're both like that. But anyway, these are probably my two first completely finished projects that I ever did. And I just think that they are the cutest things in the world. My mother absolutely loved them. And of course, once she passed, I made sure I got these back so that I could keep these to remember her by. So I keep these here in my craft room. I don't have them up on the wall. I have a table over here with my sewing machine on it that I keep them on. But yeah, I'll give you another look. So there's the boy bunny. And I want to say I came across the magazine, and these came out of a magazine. I came across this magazine not too long ago that had these in there. But if I come across it again, I'll try to make a note of what the name of the pattern was and who the designer was. Alright, so that's the two finishes that I wanted to show you this week. And now, where can I put these for now? Guess they'll go right there. Alright, so what's next? I'm looking at my list here. Okay. So over the course of October, I worked on, I believe, 13 different projects. So we're just going to start with the first one and go through. They're not in any particular order. The first one I'm going to show you is Candy Cane Santa. And this piece is my one strand a day, with the exception of yesterday. I didn't get to film yesterday. I had to work again, and it was so late when I got home that I didn't want to fool with even stitching, so I didn't do any stitching yesterday, which is very unusual for me. In fact, looking back over my numbers for October so far for this year, it's one of my lowest amount of total stitches that I've had so far this year. Now, grant you, I don't get a whole lot of stitching done during the week because of work, and I have a fairly long commute back and forth to work. But I usually do better than I did last month. With us going into the holiday season, I don't know how much that's going to improve, because I foresee working quite a few off days. Because during the holidays it gets really busy at work. And then with it being the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and getting prepared for it, and going Christmas gift shopping, and decorating and all that, yeah, that definitely cuts into your stitching time, but you know, I enjoy that. I enjoy the holidays a lot and spending time with my family, so you know, that's definitely a good trade-off, I suppose. So anyway, let's get back to Candy Cane Santa. So this is a Dimensions Go kit, Go Collection kit. This is designed by Donna Race. I'm using everything in the kit. You should be seeing a picture of what it looked like at the end of September. Like I said, I'm using everything in the kit. I'm using the number of threads, whether it's a full or a half cross, and it's all over 1 since it's on Aida. It's on 16 count Aida in the color Dove Gray. And so now you should be seeing a photo of what it looked like at the end of October. I do not have the actual piece in here with me to show you because I have stitched on it since then, and so it wouldn't really be a true comparison as to the beginning and end of the month. So I'm going to try now to put both pictures up on the screen so that maybe you can see the difference as far as progress. So over the course of the month of October, on Candy Cane Santa, he got 1,420 stitches for a total of 24,015 stitches, and I hit 46%. And that's really exciting. All right. So the next piece I'm going to show you is going to be seahorses. So you should be seeing a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. This is a Haid with artwork by Renee Bertonfeld. I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida in like an off-white cream color. It's all called for DMC 2/1 full cross. You should now be seeing a picture of what it looked like at the end of October, excuse me, the end of September. And here's what it looks like now. So I believe the first week in October, this was a focus piece. And then it also got stitches in it this month from Stitchopoly. So this piece got a total of 866 stitches for a total of 26,416 stitches. And it's currently at 10%. And this Haid is my one that's the furthest along. I have the most percent complete on it. Okay, and I forgot to get a picture of this one out. Excuse me, just a second. So my next whip is Wizard. And this is a Design Works kit designed by Joan Elliott. I'm using everything in the kit. It has full and half crosses in it. It's being stitched on 2/1 on 14 count Aida in the color white. Yeah, it's a white, kind of almost an off-white color. Sorry, I still don't have my setup where I feel comfortable yet. But you should be seeing a picture of what it looked like before October, going into October. this piece, I got 627 stitches for a total of 12,362 stitches in this piece now. And he was a focus whip during this month, one of the weeks. And so I mostly concentrated on his hat here, and I brought out this border just a little bit as well. Alrighty. So I'm going to wear that word out this time, I believe. So, okay. Next is opening Gambit. You should be seeing a photo of what it will look like when it's completed. This is a long dog sampler. To say that really slow to keep from saying one of my favorite lines from 16 Candles. If anybody's ever watched it, you know what I'm talking about. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jen, the caffeinated crafter, has the same issue whenever she shows the long dog. All right. So now you should be seeing a picture of what it looked like before October. This is being stitched on 14 count Aida in an off-white color. I'm using 3 shades of DMC, using a dark purple, a light purple, and then the variegated purple in the DMC. And as you can see, I concentrated on this area here and started bringing, I stitched this castle here, and then I started this pyramid there, or triangle rather, this time. And this was a focus piece at one point during the month. And this piece got 503 stitches for a total of 11,067 stitches. And I hit 42% on this one. And I'm really liking how this one's turning out with those purples. Alright. My next piece is Seaside Tiny Town. And this was, or is, a heart and hand design. And this is in my smalls category now. And so this was a focus piece at one point this month. So you should be seeing a picture of what it looked like before October. And here's where I got to on this one this month. I made a fair bit of progress stitching on, I don't know if that's a house or like a storefront. But on this piece, I got in 588 stitches this month. And it now has a total of 10,994 stitches complete. I really enjoyed the stitching on this one. Next, we have Frosty Knot Garden, which is one of my shadow lanes. And you should be seeing a picture here of what it will look like when it's complete. And here's what it looked like prior to October. And here's what it looks like now. I don't know if you can see the shiny threads or not, but I mostly concentrated on trying to finish getting all the DMC stitches here and bringing it on around. Sorry, I've got it folded here. It's not wanting to stay folded. And then, not sure how well you can see it, but I started on this right here. This piece, I am using all the called for DMC, specialty threads, and beads when I get to that point. It has specialty stitches, quarter stitches, half stitches, full stitches. And I'm really enjoying this one. And I also did a Stitch With Me video on this one this week. And I ended up getting in a total of 627 stitches on this week, for a total of 16,257 stitches total. All right, so our next project that we're going to talk about is Two Dancing Peacocks. And this is the piece that one of the pieces I'm using for a gridiron grind. And you should be seeing a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. This is a Haid. It was designed by Oleg Gavrilov. Should be now seeing a picture of what it looked like prior to October. Just a second, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I'm back. All right, so as I started stitching on Gridiron Grind, I decided that the way I had been stitching on the diagonal there, it's a very slow going process on this particular whip because there's so much confetti. So what I decided to do was go back and try using the typewriter, excuse me, if I could talk, it'd be dangerous, the typewriter method that Stitching Mommy does, to see if it would help me get a little bit more progress quicker. And I believe it did. So I don't want to take it out of the Q-snap because I'm still stitching. But here is what I stitched during the month of December. So I started at that corner of the top of that diagonal, and I worked my way across. And then this past Saturday, that's where I concentrated right there. It's the part that's in the Q-snap. So for the month of October, this piece ended up getting 989 stitches. So I almost hit 1,000 stitches on this. Now has a total of 17,355 stitches in it. And I finally hit 4% on this one. And this one is my oldest Haid. Once I finish Candy Cane Santa, this will be my oldest whip. And I don't know where to lay that. Right there for now. All right. So my other piece for gridiron grind is the Postman. So what I did when I was choosing my whips for gridiron grind is I picked the piece with the most stitches left to complete it, and the piece that I felt like had the least amount that maybe I could get a finish this season by using it for gridiron grind. So that piece is the Postman, the other piece rather, and this is a cottage garden samplings design. You should be seeing a picture of what it looked like prior to October. On this piece, I'm using a combination of the called for threads, and which I believe is week style work. Let me look real quick. I'm doubting myself. Yes. And actually, I'm not using the week style work. I'm substituting Red Fox by Color and Cotton for that one. And then for $3,799, I'm substituting Rustic Black. So here's where I got to this month. And I feel like he made quite a bit of progress this month using him in Gridiron Grind. I believe he may have got just a few stitches in Stitchopoly this month as well. But he got a total of 575 stitches in the month of October, and he now has a total of 4,431 stitches in him. And as you can see, I started working on the mailboxes. So that one is done, and I've just about got this one done. And I've talked about this before. I'm changing it up a little bit. All the mailboxes, with the exception of the one that is like the UK postal boxes, I'm changing to shades of blue so that they're more like American mailboxes. Obviously, his scarf is blue, but the UK box will stay red because from what I remember from when I went to London, they are red. And then, of course, the red bird will be red. So I don't have too terribly much left to get him completed. Alright, so the next piece is Animal Crossing, and it was a sow. I'll pop up a picture here of what it will look like when it's completed. This was a piece that was designed by Stuart Cunningham, and I believe it's still available, but you should be seeing a photo of what it looked like prior to October, and it didn't have many stitches at all prior to October, if memory serves, because I think it's only been worked on a couple of times, maybe even just one time since I started it. So if I'm not mistaken, I started it last year. And this is being stitched on 32 count Lugana. This is how far I got on it. This is Frost by Bestitch Me. I'm part of their Fabric of the Month. I'm using all the called for DMC. It's being stitched to over one full cross. And this piece got a total of 550 stitches for a grand total of 787 stitches. This was a Stitchopoly piece this month. I don't know if any of you guys play any games or not, but Animal Crossing has always been a favorite of mine, and my daughter loves it, and so I had started this with the intentions of giving it to her when I get it finished. So next we have my London Haid. So you should be seeing a photo of what it will look like when it's finished. This Haid is based on artwork by Ciro Marchetti. And you should be seeing a photo of what it looked like prior to October. I'm not sure the count for this Ada. It's either 18 or 20. But this is where I'm at on this one. Let me put that back there and see if I can hold it. There we go. And so I was working right here this month on that diagonal. And this is using Avocado 4 DMC 2/1 full cross. And this piece got 282 stitches. And it's a Stitchopoly piece this month. In fact, I still owe a few stitches in it for this last round of Stitchopoly. Alright, so next is Halloween Sampler by Teresa Kogut. And this piece had a birthday in October, so that's why this piece came out. I love this piece. There's quite a few people stitching it. Should be seeing a picture of what it looked like before October. This is being stitched on 32 count Lugana in the color Boneyard by Teresa Kogut. Sorry, by Be Stitch Me Fabric. The pattern is by Teresa Kogut. I'm using a combination of the Cob 4 threads and some substitutions of my own from my Color Cotton stash. This is being stitched 2/2 full cross, and I worked on this one day for its birthday, and I got in 276 stitches for a total of 1,136 stitches on this piece so far. Okay, so the next piece is and I haven't showed it a whole lot since the very first couple of videos when I was actually showing the fabric. So there's really not a point of showing you the before picture because you guys didn't see it before. But it is a Halloween Biscornu by Patini Patini. And I'm stitching this one right here. And this, it's like a little secret stitch, but I'm pretty sure the person I'm stitching this for won't see this, so I've decided to go ahead and start sharing it. So this piece, I am stitching on a piece of Ada, and I cannot, did I write it down? Yeah, I did. All right. It's a piece of 14 count Ada that I dyed myself. And this piece, just like the next piece I'm about to show you, I only stitch on it on Sundays. After I do my one strand a day, I put 2 strands in on this. And so for this month, I got a total of 267 stitches for a total of 429. Like I said, I only stitch on this on Sundays, and I just do 2 strands or 2 lengths. But this is a piece of Ada that I had dyed specifically for this piece. And the black I'm using is some old thread that I found, and I wanted to see how well it would do, and it's doing just fine. This is JP Coats black. I'm not sure if there's probably a number on it, but I didn't write it down. But the coverage is really good, kind of like anchor black. And then the last piece I have to show you from what I stitched on last month is the Witchy Stitch, the Stephen King House by the Witchy Stitcher. This is the piece that the other piece that I stitch only on Sundays, and I put in 2 lengths of thread in it as well. So you should be seeing a picture of where it was at the beginning of October, or rather just prior to October. And what I'm doing on this is I am trying to just work on the frame of the house and stitch the black. And like I said, I'm just doing the 2 strands on Sundays, 2 lengths. And I'm trying to see how far I can get by next April doing that. But this is where I got to. So at one point I had to frog everything out that I had stitched because I had started here in the middle, and so I had to frog it out and start basically over, so because I had to frog all but like 6 or 7 stitches. Otherwise it'd be a little bit further along. So on this piece I got 321 stitches for a total of 466 for the month of October. This is being stitched on 32 count Lugana in the color Gray Magic, again by Be Stitch Me fabric. Using out of the Called For DMC, 2/1 full cross. Alrighty. So let's talk about what I'm going to be working on this week. So, like I said, I did not get to stitch yesterday. But my one strand today will, of course, be, sorry about that. It's a big truck going down the road. One strand today. And I will pop up a picture for the end of October, what it looked like before I started stitching on it this week. So I will continue with that. And as luck would have it, as I knock everything in the floor, just a moment. As luck would have it, my focus for the week, this week, is 2 peacocks. So, which is good because it'll help me get caught up on my gridiron grind stitches. Because for gridiron grind, this past Saturday, Tennessee played Oklahoma, and Oklahoma beat us 33-27. So that added another 270 stitches to Two Dancing Peacocks. And so now I need to get a total of 2,000. I need to get another 2,392 stitches to get this caught up. So it being my focus piece this week will help with that. And so I will just continue to work my way across till I get to the corner, wherever that's at, probably over here. And then I'll come back and start my way back across again. But doing it this way, I am definitely getting more progress quicker because, you know, I'm following the thread. I pick the next symbol and just follow the thread wherever it leads me. And it's working pretty good on this one so far. Let's see. Then on my other gridiron grind piece, it's the Postman. And so for this past week, I owe it 215 stitches. So I will probably finish off this mailbox here. And I may go ahead and move down right here and do this mailbox so I can get it out of the way. And then that way everything else will be easy to stitch within the Q-snap. In fact, I'll probably stitch the one that's down here before I go back to that one. Just so I won't have to move the Q-snap again. I'm working on it. And then for Stitchopoly, like I said, I still owe a few stitches on this one. I needed 350 stitches for this for Stitchopoly, and so I owe it a whopping 68 stitches. If I'd known that the last time I was stitching on it, I would have just went ahead and sucked it up and got those stitches in so I could have played another round of Stitchopoly, but that's okay. So I have this to do as well. And this is, I'm sorry, this is London. Let's see. And then, of course, I will continue with my 2 strands on Sunday, which is, here, I'll put them down here. Sorry about that. Which will be the Witchy Stitcher, the Stephen King house, and the Biscornu. I may put extra time in on this. I'll see where I'm at, maybe around Thanksgiving. I would kind of like to give this as a Christmas gift, so depending on where I'm at that point, I may pull this out and start working on it more so I can get it done. Because I would still need time to finish it, you know, to give it as a gift. All right, so now I had talked the last couple of videos about not having a fancy lady, and I've never stitched a fancy lady. And someone, a viewer had reached out to me and said that she was going to start her first fancy lady this month, meaning November. And so we're going to do a start along, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what her name was. I will pop it up on the screen. But anyway, we are going to do a start along on our first ever fancy lady. And so this is the one I've decided to do. there's just something about the colors in this. I picked this up off of Stash and Load on Facebook. And so it has got a lot of DMC and blends. It also has Krynic in it, kind of like a pearl color and a gold color, I believe. And so I was looking for a fabric that would work for it, and I came across this one. And I think that is going to be perfect because it's almost like a pale butter color. And I think she will look fantastic on this. This is 32 count What the Hay by Be Stitch Me. So sometime this month I will be starting this. I don't know if it'll be this week or not, but look for this probably in the next couple of weeks. I probably wouldn't have time around Thanksgiving, but I'm definitely going to start her this month. And then I have never participated in the Hayed Sale. However, this year they've changed things up a little bit, and so they're giving a free chart if you just complete one page. And that free chart is going to be an exclusive that Amy Stewart is designing, and it's, I cannot remember what it's called. Stitching, I cannot remember what it's called. I'll try to find it and put it in the description below what the title of the piece is. But it's going to be an exclusive, and it will be revealed next year what that piece is going to be. But if you get one page completed, then you get that exclusive. And it has to do with stitching, so of course, I have to give it a shot. Figure surely I could squeeze in one page. So that's going to change up the way I'm doing things just a little bit next year, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this. And I will pop up a picture of the piece that I think that I'm going to select for my sale. There's just something about this that I really like. The colors, it just draws me to it. So I decided on this piece, and that's the one I'll be working on. And of course, I can't remember what it's called. So again, I will try to put that info in the description. If you haven't seen them, I know they've posted them on Facebook, and there's a link that you can go to, and you can see a better picture than, the little cropped image that is on Facebook. All right, and then the only other thing that I have is back to Fancy Ladies. I own a few Fancy Ladies. I have a cute 2 or 3 mirrors. I've got several Fancy Ladies of Joan Elliott's that I haven't started or stitched, but I've not purchased any since I've gotten back into stitching. In fact, the mirrors that I own or that I have were some of my mom's stash that I have inherited. So I was scrolling through Facebook as we do, and last night I saw where Bellafina, oh my goodness, I cannot talk and do not even know how to properly say that. My apologies. But anyway, they are releasing a new design. And I'm going to pop up a picture here of her, and she is absolutely stunning. And she's a little pricey, but she may be my birthday. Is it birthday? Oh my goodness. She may be my Christmas present to myself this year, because I just think she's stunning. And it really does make me want to stitch a Fancy Lady. And it looks like she's got a ton of beads on her as well. So, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people start her if not this year, at the beginning of next year. And so I'm excited, and I'll definitely be purchasing her, whether she's a gift for myself or I happen to get her for Christmas from, my kids. Because, I have already hinted to my daughter about that one, because I sent it to her last night. I was like, oh, is she not gorgeous? But anyway, I believe that is all that I have for you guys today. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful week, that you're able to take time for yourself and get some stitching in. So until next week, bye-bye.